Okay, hello everybody. I'm not yet done with Corbeau. I still have some more pages to do with him. I'm on page 11 here. But I got kind of interested in this other story that's using a different comic style. And it's called Lila and the Nightmare King. I've been kind of developing it. If you caught the Drive-In Saturday yesterday, I pretty much did the whole page, this whole page, and came up with it during the stream. I had a start on the rhyme, and I've changed the rhyme a little bit, so there's like a rhyming prologue at the beginning. But I want to go ahead and just get it started, because I realized if I don't get it started, I'll just be waiting to start it. Oh, that's not gonna work. Ugh. Don't know why it's doing that, but there it goes. There it is. This is meant to be, it's kind of an homage to newspaper comics, and it's going to have a lot of Disney in it. In fact, it's going to have Pete in it. And many of the other characters will be inspired by characters in the public domain. I don't have a place for Mickey Mouse yet, but I do have a character that's inspired, a sort of female Mickey Mouse, and that's not Minnie Mouse. That's the Lila character. So, anyway. Is that the whole thing? It's just 3 panels at the beginning. Just 3 panels. Alright, so let me get into I'm going to call this also Inky. I have the title on its own layer. And this title, this is there is a font underneath that I deformed a little bit and traced. It's a trick I like to use, but it's supposed to, but I came up with the texturing and of course the deforming. Also the I and the exclamation point I made up. But here's the story. As it takes place in this place called Oneria, which is the Dream Kingdom. So one of the other things it's inspired by is Little Nemo in Dreamland. Oof. And to a certain degree, The Nightmare Before Christmas, well, it's got a Nightmare King in it. I wonder. I think that'll work out. So the rhyming prologue kind of sets up the whole story about how the kingdom of Oneria is like this dream kingdom where anything can happen, but there was a bad guy that was in charge for a while, and he's been banished. But like on page 2, he's going to get sprung out and escape. Maybe page 3. And my thoughts on this is I am making this specifically for a webcomic. Like, you know, a lot of the other comics I have in mind that I'm going to be publishing it in printed form. But this one's specific to a webcomic and actually I'm not sure if I'm going to do it as an Instagram webcomic. I think I'll definitely be posting on Instagram. But I think it'll be a webcomic on something like Comic Fury. So if we take off the pencils, we can now see there's our rhyming prologue here. One thing I don't like is it ends with the wrong set of quotes here. He once ruled all the dreamlands. There it is. He once ruled all the dreamlands with the spells of fear and dread. But then came Princess Lila and she put him to sleep instead. So, okay, we're going to take this and delete that. There we go. And just to be consistent. Oops. Thought we were on the ink layer. Just hand do it. Do it by hand. Got the same problem down here. Now Oneria stands. The quote marks are coming in backwards. This seems to be a problem that Procreate is having. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, now, as for the rest of it, bring back our things here. We want to have... Oh, we got these two up here. These are really narration boxes. So let's go ahead and... What I'll do is I'll rename this whole layer as narration boxes or bubbles. I usually use the name bubbles as my... anything with speech bubbles of any kind on it. I'm looking at this and I've got my font sizes are all over the place. And I think even the fonts are all over the place because I think some of these are in Evil Genius and some of these are in Crime Fighter. So Here Stands Oneria is definitely Crime Fighter. But beware of lurking danger. Oh, fuck. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. Here Stands Oneria. That's at 8. I'm going to make it a 9. That's a little bit better. Okay, but that means I gotta redo. Gotta redo this thing. It's on this one, okay. Alright. Distort. Distort lets you just... There we go. That's uniform. Alright, there we go. And we pull the pencils. That seems okay. After looking at this, I'm thinking that Evil Genius does look better. Alright, so let's do this. We'll change everything to Evil Genius. Here Stands Oneria. I know this is just gripping to watch the the font changes. Oneria, bold. And same thing here. Alright, over here also inky. This is the one that's going to end up as the narration box or speech bubble layer. Alright, everything's looking good. Alright, so what we're going to do is, if we want to do inky, it's going to also pull that. So let's go ahead and just throw this back into cut and paste. Put it back into, I think it's also inky. And then also inky will now be called bubbles. Alright. For just as light cannot exist without darkness. Alright, this is a new font. Evil Genius. The problem with this one is it was right outside the border. Panel border. And I am pretty much against breaking the panel border in most cases. I think Crime Fighter's a bust. It does have nice kerning, just so you know. And then, what is this? Same deal. So, but Evil Genius also has pretty good kerning. Select that. We're going to put it at 12. Okay. Alright, is it too small to appreciate? I guess we're going to find out soon enough. Bubbles. Ink 2. Alright, it starts with this. This is meant to be like a flyover. Of the city of Oneria, so the kingdom. I haven't seen Nightmare Before Christmas in a long time, but I seem to remember there being some kind of flyover or something at the beginning. And then this is some clouds. And it's going to be dark on the left side. And then we see the light shining through for most of it. So the sun over here. It's important to get lots of good contrast. Alright, let's see what I got here. I think, anyways, for the foreseeable future of comics, I am more interested in doing these more cartoony comics, I guess. Or maybe something that kind of spans, that does a little bit of both, like the Spirit. The Spirit was Eisner, of course. But it was both cartoony but also serious in a weird way. And I'd like to do something like that. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. So these lines don't really matter. Maybe I should, unless I make the sun higher. What if I put the sun up here? What happened there? You can see that the sun is chasing away the clouds and chasing away the darkness as well. Let's fill in some black ink. And I've got this bat. The bat is a little bit sinister, but not really sinister. It's kind of a spooky bat from Halloween or something. Alright. Let's take a look at it without the pencil layer. I like parts of it and I don't like other parts of it. Okay, so part of it that I don't like has to do with how I drew this part of the bubbles layer. We're going to do some shading on the clouds. Just once you have the light source established, you can figure out where you're going for the most part. Okay. So it's good to get a nice splash page in. Alright, let's see if we can... We're trying to texture a little bit of these parchment scrolls where the rhyme comes in. More likely than not, there will be no color. Let's fill in our bat. Now, I have comic projects that I've started and never finished before. And I don't feel too bad about them because I consider myself a student at this juncture. So all that really matters is getting pages completed. Whether anybody reads this page, this isn't important. Until you get to page 1000, and I'm on 832, none of it really counts except for personal goal. It's kind of like the reps that you're doing at the gym that nobody's watching. Nobody has to watch it. All right, hang on. If you keep a student's mentality, you can always improve. All right, that actually looks pretty good to me right now. So we've got the darkness and the light. Alright, let's bring all things back. These are like 2 standing gate stones. I was thinking of putting some kind of runes or maybe even some secret symbols or runes on there. If you've ever seen Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, there's like a whole secret language that's in there that is really cool. People start to look out for after a while. I think it's neat. Alright, I know that this is... I got these lines here. Let's try and... It's going to be hard to fade from complete black to complete white, but that isn't going to stop me from trying. Alright. My decision has not yet been made on whether or not I'm gonna use tones. I kind of want to use tones. I've been looking at Floyd Gottfredson again. Last night I got volume 5, or is it volume 5 or volume 4 on Kindle? And that's the one that debuts the Phantom Blot, if you know the Phantom Blot. And the book made a point of saying, you know, this was rarely reproduced because he used craft tint. Craft tint is like duotone, duo shade board. It had sort of an embedded cross-hatching pattern or hatching pattern that you could bring out with one chemical and then you could paint the other chemical over it and get the cross-hatching. The same trick they used in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, except 4 decades earlier. And apparently it was really hard to reproduce. And also, if you remember, these were originally daily cartoons that were later on consolidated into compilations. I'm not going to use the word graphic novel for Mickey Mouse. It's just not not the case. But like the Dell comics, The Gold Key comics you might be familiar with. I guess Gold Key is getting all the hype now. Gold Key and Dell are the same thing. Gold Key, Dell, and Western are mostly the same as far as I know. Alright, where am I? 25 minutes in. Okay. So here's our opening splash. We have this sort of rhyming prologue, and then it explains the situation. And then we see this flyover of the city. Oneria. Make sure I'm spelling it right. Oneria, it literally means City of Dreams. We're in a handler. I mean, I was as surprised as anybody to find out how much I liked Lloyd Gottfredson. But wow, he's great. Alright, I probably got to get some reference for this gate. I want it to be like this ornate gateway. With lots of sort of Art Nouveau curves. You know? And maybe that's enough for right now. All right, last 3 minutes. Last 3 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and work on these other panels. All right, so first things first, drop shadow. Make sure I'm in the right. I am in the right layer. I'm good. That would have been a disaster right there. So once we have the drop shadow down, we're going to try and do this Eisner trick where we're doing the shadows of the bars over the figure. Whoops, that didn't work out well, did it? Oof. Bit by bit. Right, there he is, and then we're gonna this is like that point in Sudoku when the numbers start to make sense. You singled out all the digits. All right, when we get to the ones that go over his form, I'm going to put them on a different layer just in case I mess up. I'll be able to erase it without hurting anything. I don't have the ironclad constitution to erase with impunity. Or drop the black ink with impunity. Okay, boom, right here. Just if you're still watching. Let's put this guy. All right. All right, let's see what it looks like. I actually don't know. How does that look? This is what's been slowing me down. It's just the dread of doing it like this. I think we should leave his goggles. Does that look disturbing? Like it's the goggles kind of produce their own light? No. All right. Looking pretty good. All right, now what we're going to do now is it which? I think it's this one. No, it's this one. We're going to go in and finish the speech bubble. In this case, it's a thought bubble. All right, that worked out okay. Let's go ahead and bring this layer all the way back up. All right. Please like, follow, and subscribe. There'll be more comics later. So now we got 2 stories going at the same time. I will see you next time.